This is the Real Positive Girl podcast, and I am your host, Sabrina, and I'm here chatting with you all about your emotions, your mental health struggles, how to take those first few steps to becoming more vulnerable, more honest, and more self-aware so that you are able to become your best self every single day. And we do that 2 times a week around here. So if you are new, welcome in. I really hope that today's episode and any episodes that you decide to listen to in the future or go back into the archives of anything that's happened in the past ends up being so super helpful for you. Really, really genuinely, that is my biggest hope. So if you're new, again, welcome in. If you are not new, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here and you found some sort of help or entertainment in the content that I provide here on the Real Positive Girl podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about why are you holding on to pain? But before we get into that topic, as always, I want to point you to the direction of where the show notes are. And if you look down there, you will see an opportunity for you to pop over to Amazon and look at the journal planner situation that I created that will really help you keep track of your mental health and your mindset every single day while also planning the things in your life. So take a look at that. Take a look at where you can send me an email, which is that realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I do check that weekly. And you can also submit a topic suggestion for the podcast. Also, come visit me on social media. I'm at Sabrina Joy Perozzo on both Instagram and TikTok. I'd love to get a DM from you. Love to see you comment. I'd love to chat with you in the messages. Come follow along on socials where I'm also sharing additional content. And I got a little behind on it, but I do slice and dice the newest YouTube videos of the newest episodes, which are, again, slowly coming onto YouTube. I actually just uploaded 10 episodes yesterday that are going to slowly roll out over the weekend because I try to only have 2, sometimes on a rare occasion 3 videos post in a day on YouTube. And that's just because I'm trying to rush the process a little bit. But I was able to post 10 and I'm hoping to post another 10 this weekend to kind of roll out over the next week. And then after that, I think we only have maybe 10, 20 more, and then we'll be caught up. So, let's say by the time July rolls around, we'll maybe be caught up if I can just, really dig into that. So anyway, yeah, check out socials for any new clips for newer episodes of the podcast, the video version. But for now, you can still go watch a ton of other video versions that are there from the beginning of the year. And also, what's the other thing I always encourage you guys to do? I went off on a tangent a little bit about the video. I don't know. Let's just become friends online. So check all the things out in the show notes below. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which is why we are here. And again, we are talking about why are you holding on to pain? This is yet another episode brought to you by me praying and asking God, what should I talk about? Because I don't want to talk about anything that I don't find interesting or helpful to you guys, especially since I don't get that many topic suggestions. But I think that it's because over the years I've done so many different topics that honestly, it probably would be a little bit difficult to come up with new ideas unless you were specifically going through something. So again, you can do that. If you just pop down to the show notes, you're able to submit a topic anonymously. That'd be great. But for today's, I was just asking God and praying, God, what should we talk about, right? And it wasn't specifically today. It was about a few days ago. And then I kind of was impatient and waiting for God to give me an answer right then when I asked. But then I kind of let it go because I was you know what? I don't want to just think that I hear something from God and then make something up and it ends up being a travesty. But then later on in the day, this is the idea that kind of just was given to me I was blessed with. And I'm very excited because I don't think it actually is something that I've ever talked about. So I think this is going to be fun. And I think it's a good question for all of us to ask. Why are we holding on to the pain that we've had when we are sometimes well past the experiences that brought the pain to us? And sometimes it's still fresh, but even then we know that it's in our heart and heart of hearts. We know that it's not benefiting us, right? And so in regards to holding on to pain, it's really all about fairness and justice for me when it comes to just holding on to it, holding so tight with the tightest grip that I can in my fist. I just want to hold it on because I want everything to be fair. I used to be really focused on that fairness and justice for everything. And life isn't fair and it's not really meant to be fair. Plus, if life were fair, then there really wouldn't be any need for us to dedicate our lives to Jesus because everything would just work out. But since it's not, we do need to go through that process of giving our life to Jesus so we can lean on Him and He can help us through His strength to do everything. So I'm not as much caught up in this as I was. Still a little bit, I'm not perfect, but I used to be like so hardcore, like everything needed to be brought to some sort of justice for it to be dealt with, and then we can move on. And I really was really struggling with letting go of pain when I didn't think there was enough done to like either the person that caused the pain or whatever the situation was to like kind of like, mediate the situation, figure out who gets the slap on the wrist or whatever, and then move forward. So I just got so caught up in thinking not enough has happened because of this small thing or big thing or whatever. And what had happened or the person, like, I also got really upset because it didn't seem like they learned any lessons from it. And it just really, really got to me to a point where I would be holding down so much pain that was absolutely unnecessary. I would clutch to that pain like it was a trophy and show it off to everyone by sharing what I had endured and like why it upset me and all the details about it, right? And I didn't feel like I was doing it in a gossipy way, even though I probably was. It was just that I was sharing my truth, or whatever, with everyone and just needed people to know. And those moments made me feel better for a moment. Like it's just being able to unload it, that word vomit of sharing, that kind of inappropriate emotional trauma dumping onto people. But it didn't really do anything to change the situation, of course, because it's not. You're really just relaying your feelings and how you experienced whatever it was, how you've allowed it to affect you, and what you're going to do, like what you wish you would do next, but you don't necessarily do that next. So essentially, I was holding on to pain for no reason and no gain. And who wants to do that? And I would say, actually, for me, the real reason for a very specific, if you want a specific reason for me, the real reason I held on to my pain so tightly was because I had fear of what life would be like if I was without it. And because it was such a big part of my life, all the pain, the trauma, the issues that I'd gone through. It's like if I just decided to move on from those and not allow those things to dictate any emotions or actions or mindsets or anything, it's like, well, where do I go from here? I don't know a life without it, right? Especially if you just continue to have pain after pain and trauma after trauma, it just continues to like build up this big mountain, probably in your closets with all the other skeletons and the emotional baggage that you have. And you're just like, yeah, that's my beautiful collage of pain and trauma. I need it. I need it. And so that's kind of how I felt. And I was just fearful of like, what could happen if I just let it all go? And I had also like grown emotionally attached to it. And that's pretty normal for people that experience a lot of pain and trauma. You're just like, it just I wanted to like hold on to it and I thought it was so important for me to just have that attached to me at all times. And this was like in regards to any pain that came during like my childhood up until the point where I left for college. Because anything after that, any other pain or traumas that I experienced after that, I would hold on to my pain because it provided me like validation and sympathy from others. So I was able to shift from the fear of like not knowing what would happen if I give up all that pain, because I ended up moving away from a lot of my pain, from a lot of my trauma. So I was able to experience what it was like to, kind of like be released from that pain. I was still kind of emotionally attached to it. So there would be kind of like like a leftover feeling kind of thing. I don't even know how better to describe it. But then it really shifted over to having more validation from other people and sympathy for what I was going through. And, I would always offer to people like what I was dealing with and in a way that made it sound like I had it all taken care of. You don't need to feel sorry for me. I'm just telling you my struggles and how I got through them, right? But that I wanted to convey that I also was in the right for like however I felt. And I could not have been the person that was wrong most of the time. Of course, you want to like act like you're humble and be like, oh, yeah, well, I wasn't the person that caused the pain, but I was the person that was affected by the pain. Or sometimes I didn't realize that I was a part of being someone that was wrapped up in causing the pain. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like victim mindset stuff too. And so that was the way that I went about it for the longest time. After releasing this fear of letting it go, I was like, oh no, let's just use it as a show, which is so much more worse, right? It's so much worse. Not more worse. Wow, that was awful grammar. It was awful like sentence structure. It was just more, it was just worse. It's like a worse way to go about it, I would say. Needing a sense of control, that's a good one too. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But what I want to tell you, sorry, I got lost in like what I wanted to share with you. So I would always like tell people my point of view, how they should take it, how they should receive it, how it should be delivered, and because I wanted to control, which we'll get into in a second, how people saw me, how people viewed me, and I needed to be in as positive a light as possible because I was trying to make friends. I was trying to like have people on my side, have that community. But, this is so unhealthy because of the manipulation tactics that I was using to, get people to feel sorry for me or to be on my side. And it's just not right. We don't want to manipulate people and force people to, or try to force people, because people still can choose what they want, but try to force people to feel a certain way just so we feel in control and we feel like we're getting the sympathy and empathy that we think we deserve. Yeah, so beyond like having a fear of the unknown of what it would feel like without that pain attached and getting emotionally attached to the pain and wanting, validation and sympathy from other people, there are several other reasons people will decide to hold on to their pain. And so maybe you're in a spot where you don't understand why you're holding on to your pain. And maybe some of these examples that I'll share with you will better help you like be like, oh yeah, it's that one. Or maybe it's none of the ones that I list, but you're like, oh, well, that kind of is going to lead me in the thought process of figuring out, oh, I think this is the reason. Because it's always good to know why, how you got there. And then you can move forward and like moving away from that thing, right? Because you want to know the origin story because you want to know how you got there so that you don't stumble in there again sometime in the future so that you can just continue to go about your day and keep on moving forward. So needing a sense of control, as I've already mentioned, is a very common one, right? When you like hang on to that pain so tight, you feel more in control of your life because you're making the decision, one, to actually hold on to that pain. So you're like, oh, I'm in charge because I'm actually going to hold on to this sucker so tightly. And you're going to use it to feel significant in your life or choose to define yourself by that pain. And so people will know you as the person that was able to overcome this, that, and the other, or like press through these struggles and these pains or whatever, and use that as like your definition of who you are and everything that you represent, which is not great either because you don't want to be defined by these pains and these struggles and problems. You want to be defined by your actual true characteristics of who you are and what you're trying to do every day in the world, like be kind and show people grace and share God's love and be a light to the world and things like that. Not like, oh my gosh, I was able to make it through like a terrible, abusive a relationship, which is really great that you were able to like, make it through that. That's amazing accomplishment, but that shouldn't be the thing that you brand on yourself to be known by because it just continues to bring up the pain that you did actually experience like in the relationship, not just like when you got to the other side of it. And that's really damaging to you as a person trying to grow and become your best self. So needing a sense of control is definitely a common one. Another common reason for holding on to pain is believing that you need to be punished or reminded of the pain on a regular basis. So you hold on to it until you believe like the sentence that you've put yourself in is over. So if the pain that you're experiencing is really like a mistake or a failure and you're really throwing on the guilt and the shame for that experience, which we really shouldn't, because mistakes and failures are life's best learning lessons, I believe, one of life's best learning lessons. But if you don't realize that, or you don't take in and believe that statement, then you might decide to punish yourself by holding on to the pain of those mistakes, of those failures, of those really harsh things that you feel like you allowed to happen. And maybe you did allow to happen, but you're not in any shape or form in the mindset to give yourself forgiveness. So you're just like, I'm going to punish myself and continue to remind myself of this pain for whatever set amount of time that you have determined, which again is not healthy or helpful to the situation. Because if we continue to just, focus in on the things that we did wrong and the wrong turns that we went and how we didn't know the answer to this, that, and other, when it shouldn't be expected for us to know all the answers, or maybe we were supposed to and we just didn't realize it, we weren't prepared, whatever the case may be, it's still not helpful to like sentence yourself and like tell yourself, okay, I need to punish myself. Like, no, why don't you actually do the harder thing, which is to continue to put one foot forward and then move past the mistakes and failures? Because yes, you can punish yourself, but that's the easy way out, because it's much harder to just pull yourself back up and move forward and try again, or try a different way, or go do something else, or whatever it is, because people are going to expect you to lay down and just take it and feel so bad, especially if other people are involved. Let's say you started a business and it failed, but you employed other people. Those people might hold resentment and bitterness against you. And so they're going to expect you to pile on the guilt and shame on yourself because they were working for you and now they are no longer, because the business went under, right? This is just a random example. But it would actually be better for you to just dust yourself off and move forward. And, maybe later down the line, they'll realize that that's such a great example of someone just persevering and having resilience to bounce back and keep it going. But in the moment, they're going to want you to feel as bad as they think you should feel, and then how they feel, like on top, like that's the cherry on top. But we can't just like fall into this trap of like putting all this guilt and shame on ourselves, because it's not going to help us be able to move forward, move past, or really understand like what truly happened to try to prevent it from happening again in the future. So holding on to pain to punish yourself, something I know a lot of people don't even consider in holding on to their pain and like why they're doing it, is they have a lack of coping mechanisms. Like, absolutely. I don't even think that's probably like a common thing that you're thinking of. And possibly you don't even know what coping mechanisms are, which it is just a way for you to cope instead of allowing yourself to fall into the behaviors and habits and mindsets that you're trying so desperately to pull yourself out of and pull yourself away from. And I have actually done multiple episodes and social content on the difference between like positive coping mechanisms and negative coping mechanisms, because there is a difference. So a quick example would be if you are like trying to not emotionally eat. Like, this actually was a problem that I used to have, where you're just bored or you're lonely or you're sad or you're going through stuff. And so you would just go into the pantry or the kitchen, you would just be eat, whether you are hungry or not. And so a positive coping mechanism for not allowing yourself to do this, because it's not healthy for you, if that's what you choose, it was not healthy for me, is because I was already like overweight still, is to do something else. So instead of being in the pantry eating snacks, I would go outside and take a walk, or I would go clean like some random part of my house, like in a deep closet somewhere or out in the garage or whatever it is, to allow myself to get away, or go upstairs and read a book or play a video game. That was a positive coping mechanism to not allow myself to fall into the behavior that I'm trying to pull myself away from. A negative coping mechanism that some people might engage in is, instead of eating food in the kitchen and not emotionally eating, they will instead decide to go and like, I don't know, smoke a cigarette or do drugs or do something else that's harmful, but they see it as like a better option than falling into the thing that they're trying to avoid by just doing something else that also needs to be addressed, but that's not what they're focused on right now. So they're engaging in a negative behavior. Or maybe you'll call up friends that aren't actually really good friends, you just don't realize it yet, and tell them to tell you horrible things about yourself. Be like, tell me I'm so fat, tell me I'm not worth it, tell me I cannot eat. And then you use that as a coping mechanism because you want your mindset to be shifted to think a different way when you really just need to accept where you are right now in life with everything. That's how we should be running our lives, just like indefinitely, like accept where you are right now in your life and then move forward from there. Because that is how God and Christ are handling us. It's like when we come to Him, we just lay it all down for where we are, what we're doing right now, what problems and struggles we have right here, right now. And He accepts us for who we are right now. We don't need to prep and, be like super eloquent and excellent in our prayers. No, we just need to come to Him and be honest and vulnerable and just lay it all down. And so we just need to accept where we are in our life as well and realize that we can make changes from where we are right now. It doesn't need to be, the greatest example that I experienced a lot when I was cleaning full time and I was running my cleaning business full time, was that a lot of my clients, not all of them, but a lot, would do the pre-clean before I came to clean. There were some clients that didn't clean at all, and so I actually ended up doing a lot of extra work, but they appreciated it and it worked out. But some clients would like always make sure that they did the clean before I came to clean. And then I had memories of people being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I didn't pick up before you came. And I understand that like maybe some cleaning services have that expectation, but I never did. It was more of like, okay, well, I'm here to clean. And if I do extra, we've already talked about how I will charge you extra. And so it's just kind of like that where you think that you have to do all of this extra stuff to come to God, or you have to do all of this extra stuff to make a change in your life or shift to different habits or beliefs or mindsets, but you don't. You can just come from where you are right now, even if that is a totally different person from yesterday or who it will be tomorrow, just who you are right now. Lay it down and make the moves, make the changes. So again, coping mechanisms, a lot of times we can choose some that are negative that as opposed to choosing a positive one. So when you don't know how to release the pain and find a way, like a new way to process what's going on, you will continue to cling to your pain. If you don't take the time to process it and really go through it and just continue to just like be reminded of it, but not really delve deep into it, you will just continue to cling to it. It'll continue to be your bestie. And that's not what you want it to be. So when you want to harp on your pain, instead of choosing to really just ruminate about it and like focus on all of these pain and emotions and things that are like you feel like are holding you back, instead maybe choose to like read a book or go for a walk or play a game or something else that will keep your attention for just a little bit so you're able to get your mind off of that pain and start to slowly release it and, hopefully eventually let it go. Well, the most common, I would say, not just another, the most common reason that we tend to hold fast to our pain is because it's just unresolved trauma. It's unresolved. Like something happens to you and then you don't think about it. You kind of just tuck it under the rug and you move forward, but you're moving forward in vain because like life isn't going to be as great as it would be or as smooth as it could be because you didn't like resolve what happened. You didn't even take a moment to really think about the emotions that you're feeling and what you need to do to kind of heal and then move forward. So we just haven't like taken the time to really understand what we are feeling and what it is leading us to do and think about and what needs to happen for us to move forward, like what truly needs to happen, and no longer allow our pain to hold us hostage, because we often will allow it to hold us hostage. We will allow so many mindsets and behaviors and beliefs to hold us hostage because we're not realizing that we are allowing these emotions and these things to control us rather than trying to be more rational, take a step back before we make decisions or make remarks or whatever. Just kind of really think it through. And that's why it's the most common one, because people think that they just need to like skip right past whatever happened so they don't have to deal with it. But really dealing with it is actually going to make the thing that's going to be the thing that makes you stronger and help you to move forward even bigger and better than you originally planned. So to really let it go, you might have to just confront everything. And that's often more mess than you would expect it to be, but it is the true way to heal and to move forward and to let go of that pain. So now that you understand some of the reasons we tend to hold on to pain, I do want to share with you some reasons why it's important that we no longer hold on to this pain and why it's better to be more like this verse that I am going to read you, which is from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18. Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. So it's thinking about the pain and the struggles and the things that we're going through now. But instead of being so stuck and focusing on those things and how they make you feel and how you believe they will shape everything in your life, it's more important to shift your mindset to the glory and the joy and the peace that you will get from him when he gives it to you. That will be so much better than all of this pain in this morning that you are currently in. You just have to lean into God and allow it to happen, and he will give you that peace, that joy, that glory, and to just allow you to just move out of and shift out of those feelings and that pain that you're allowing to hold you hostage. So I do want to share with you 5 reasons why we need to no longer hold on to this pain. But first, as always, I need to read to you my disclaimer. And here's my quick disclaimer. So the tips and advice I'm about to give you is all based on my own knowledge and research and experience, and the experiences of others I'm able to share with you. If you find that what I've shared so far and what I'm about to share in the tips does not align with what you believe will help you best understand why you are holding on to pain, right? I encourage you to see a therapist or a counselor and have that one-on-one time to really figure out what would best align with helping you figure out, are you holding on to pain? Why are you holding on to pain? What's the dealio, my friend? And try to go that route. If you find that you don't want to seek a therapist or a counselor, that's totally fine. My next suggestion would be to go to our best friend, which is Google, and type in some keywords of unresolved trauma, dealing with using pain for sympathy, or pain and vulnerability. And that could point you to some YouTube videos, some blogs, some podcasts, some social content that maybe be more in line with what will help you figure out why are you holding on to pain. So try those things. But let's go ahead and jump into the 5 reasons we should no longer hold on to pain in our lives. Number 1, improved relationships. If we are able to unload the pain and move forward, it's not the whole forgive and forget thing. You might still remember, obviously, that you went through that stuff, that pain, those experiences, but you're no longer allowing it to be the most common, top of mind thing. It's not controlling your actions and decisions and the way that you're going to go with life. And so it will help you, by letting it go, improve the relationships and potential relationships that will happen in the future in your life. So if there is bitterness involved, or resentment or lack of trust in current relationships that you have because there have been experiences in those relationships with pain and whatever, letting go of your pain and not continuing allowing it to bubble to the surface and talk about it and blame people or whatever can alleviate some of those current things, can help people to die down on their bitterness and on their resentment, and maybe grow in trust between each other, which is probably what you want if these are really relationships that mean something to you. And this can also help with future relationships, as you're not holding on to as much emotional baggage as you were if you're able to let the pain go, because it's fantastic if we're able to let it go, since emotional baggage really just gets in the way and prevents us from connecting with other people. So in regard to improved relationships, the verse that I want to share with you from the Bible is from Psalms chapter 147, verse 3. It says, He heals the brokenhearted and bandages their wounds. Why can't I say that word? He heals the brokenhearted and bandages their wounds. So if you feel brokenhearted in a relationship, if you feel like there's a lack of trust, or a lack of so many things, and you are just brokenhearted over it being the way that it is, You really just need to lean into the Lord and let go of that pain and allow yourself to start fresh and give grace to them and hope that they give grace back to you. And even if they don't, you still give it to them. And ask God to help you heal this relationship and what to do next, because He will heal the brokenhearted and bandage your wounds and the sadness and the hurt and the pain that you are feeling. The second reason that you should let go of the pain that you are experiencing in your life is because you will experience increased resilience if you let it go. So you can't bounce back very well from problems and struggles if you're still carrying around all of this pain from like other experiences that have happened in your life. You know what I mean? And so you also, once you are able to let go of the pain and really build up your resilience and your perseverance and being able to bounce back from these things that we all end up going through, then you will also see how strong and capable you are. And because you're able to be resilient and bounce back and be able to see the potential for how much you can handle and what you could do in the future and what you can press through. And maybe the next thing won't be as difficult and you'll better know how to handle it and better know when to call out to God, which should be all the time, and ask Him for His help and lean into Him. And so, yeah, we can't bounce back very well or be resilient if we are packing all of this pain and it's just weighing us down. And it's not allowing us to see the point of view that other people are sharing and see ourselves as someone that can continue to move forward if we're allowing the pain to kind of just like cloud and cover up any sort of vision that we have of what our life could be. The third one that I want to share with you is personal growth. If we're able to let go of the pain, we will be able to achieve personal growth. And that's a really big reason for us to let go of pain. So when you keep hold of your pain, you hold yourself back in the past of wherever and whenever these painful experiences and struggles happen to you. But you can't move forward being so like hyper focused on what happened in the past, just like ruminating over it, continuing to remind yourself of it again and again and again and again. How is that helping anything? It's like you're replaying the tape to know the play. Like, let's hope you're not doing the play again. And what I mean play in the game. Like play in a game. Not necessarily play on a stage, even though I'm very familiar with those two. But so if you're not like watching, play by play to learn the other team's plays, right? You're just watching, like rewatching in your mind the pain and the struggle that you're going through and reminding yourself and probably telling yourself lies of how terrible you are or how awful you think you are or this, that, and the other negative lies that you're telling yourself. When really, if we just are able to step aside from that pain and not let it dominate our lives, we can achieve personal growth. We can, just allow the pain to melt away and take our time to like truly reflect on ourselves and who we are and who we want to be and how we were allowing this pain to just dictate all of those things when it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to like hang around and be this dark cloud forever. Also, when you are finally free to just like grow to your fullest and experience personal growth in different areas of your life, it can just feel so much more free during you achieving like whatever the goal is in your life and just feeling less burdened, which is amazing. Like, who doesn't want to feel that way? So in regards to personal growth, the scripture that I want to share with you is from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." So the yoke that is easy to bear, yes, the thing that He is putting on us, like mantling on us to move forward, and like the yoke is like the thing. I kind of think of it as like a leash, like a collar and a leash. It's not what it is. It's. I just feel like the similarity is that because it's like the thing that you put over them, and then like you use it to like guide the animal. Anyway, and if I am wrong about that, I don't think I am because I feel like I've seen an illustration of it for reals. But if I am, please feel free to tell me. But I believe it's you use put it on them, and it's kind of like a guide, like kind of like a leash, like if you had a collar and a leash for your Doge, which I do. And it's easy to bear. It's easy to bear, like the Lord leading you in that way. And then whatever burdens he gives you, whatever things you have to deal with are light or much lighter than anything you would experience outside of his grace and his peace and forgiveness and his love and his comfort. And so he wants you to bring your burdens to him. He wants you to just give it all to him in all honesty and allow him to teach you the ways of being like him, having that Christ-like mindset and attitude and behavior that we're all seeking after, and we can just rest in him. And so in regards to personal growth, if we're able to just like really lean into God and give it all to him and understand that he is going to help us, continue to move forward and achieve those goals and fulfill those dreams, and know that the way that he wants to take us about life is not going to be anything worse. It's going to be significantly better and more amazing than any other way that we are being guided through life. Because his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Okay, number 4 is being open to new things. So when we hold on to our pain, which again, this was actually not one that I've thought about a lot in my life in general, so I'm glad that in my research I was able to stumble across it. But when we hold on to our pain, it is similar to having like a fixed mindset. And so you only see what comes easy to you, and you only like adapt to those things and really like live your life through those things. And anything else is just a no-go if it doesn't happen with like natural talent. It doesn't just easily come to you. And that's what a fixed mindset is. You're so focused on things that are come natural and easy to you, and you don't see the benefit of continuing to push and learn how to do something and really try hard to become better and finally reach a situation where you have advanced as far as you can go. But people with fixed mindsets are just like, oh, it's like one and done. If we don't get it now, we're just never going to get it, which isn't true. And so you will only see what comes easy to you. And, you narrow your view of life. You narrow the opportunities that you could experience. And it's like a sad way to live life. So you want to be open to new things. You want to not just so focus on the things that you know you're good at or you can do. You want to focus on the things that you really struggle with, but how can you get better in those things? And by allowing our pain to go and not hold us hostage and not just like fill us and just take everything over, then we are able to have a more open mindset, a more open perspective of what we could do and what we could try, and how those things will make us more well-rounded in understanding of others and become our best self every single day. So in the book of Philippians, I'm going to read to you from chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. It says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we could understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus." As you live in Christ Jesus, you have to give your life to him. But yes, don't worry about anything. You don't have to continually be worrying and fretting over like you not being this and this not happening and not being good enough or whatever it is. You can be open to new things. You can try new things. You can have multiple perspectives on things so that you have a more well-rounded vision of what's going on and what needs to happen. This can also help when you are putting all of your trust in God and realizing, okay, he can handle it. Let's see it from his perspective, which is he's got this, as opposed to you feeling like you need to be controlling and micromanaging of like, okay, well, actually, God, let me just handle this. When actually everything is better through his strength working through us. You just need to like let it go and stop like trying to be all nitpicky and be all up in there. But yeah, don't worry about anything. Tell God what you need. Thank him for everything that he has done, and actually just allow yourself to truly experience the peace of God, which will help you just be more open-minded to things and the way that God wants and knows your life should be set up as, because we will oftentimes pray about a lot of things, and then we get upset when things don't come to pass the way that we had planned it to happen. But often God knows the way that it should happen, and we think we know because we have like everyone, even if you have like the biggest imagination in the world, we all have a limitation on how things could happen in our life based upon assumptions and previous historical events and the way that we feel about ourselves and where we are in life right now and all these things. When God can see so much more for us, like we're made for more and He knows it, He's going to give that to us. And so what we're asking for may come to us in a different way than we were expecting, but it's always going to be better. And we always just need to be open-minded of like, oh, okay, so I didn't get the fancy car that I want. God blessed me with this other regular car. But okay, let me just be like accepting of this because and understand and be grateful because I needed a car in general and I didn't necessarily get that other car. But then maybe you find out like a long way down the line that you actually end up being able to sell that car really easily because it's just a good general car that anyone will buy, and you get blessed with a different kind of car or whatever the situation may be. Or you might find out the car that you really wanted actually was recalled because it had all these safety issues wrong with it, whatever the case may be. So just kind of keep that in mind, being open to new things, being open to whatever God wants to do for you, even though it doesn't feel like it was like your plan, it's probably a better plan and we should just like adapt to it and try it out. Okay, so number 5, and the last one I have to share with you today is it only hinders us. It never helps us. So the last reason that I want to share with you is just really a basic reminder of why we should no longer hold so tight and fast to our pain is that it only hinders us. It doesn't help us. It never helps us. It never makes us stronger or it never makes our life better by holding on to it. Now, gleaning whatever knowledge and experience you can from that experience, from that situation, those things definitely help. But those things aren't like focusing totally on the pain, all the wrong things that happened. When you glean knowledge and information from an experience in that has happened, you're like, okay, well, how did we get here? What happened during this, that, and the other? How can we prevent it from happening in the future? Are there any other things that we need to kind of like be aware of to better plan for next time? And so take that information and move on from it. But if you're just trying to like relive everything and kind of like actually accurately remember in your mind like a movie, you're really causing yourself more damage of being so caught up with what happened in the past. So clutching tight to your pain will not gain you anything. It just won't. You think it will, but it won't. If anything, it'll just get in your way even more and cause you even more trouble. So I just encourage you, please let it go. You will feel so much better. And yes, if you're like me when I was talking about how I used to be so obsessed with everything needing to be fair and justice needing to be had, again, I still struggle with that a little bit, but if you're like me and that's your issue, and that's why you can't just let go of the pain, you have to realize it's going to come a point where they don't care, whoever else was involved. You don't need to hold guilt and shame against yourself because that's not going to help you move forward. That might actually, cause like some sort of ripple effect in you not moving forward and that preventing other things from not happening that should be happening. I'm not trying to guilt you with that. Just kind of like think about it that way. Like, okay, let's just move forward because it would be best. And just realize that there's nothing it's going to do for you. It's going to do nothing. Nothing at all. Zip, zilch, maybe -10. Just continuing to remind yourself of it. It's not beneficial. And the verse that I have for this one, for it only hinders us and it never helps us, is from the book of John, chapter 14, verse 27. I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give you is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. It's so good. I feel like it really just like, puts a bow on everything. He left us a gift. Jesus left us a gift of peace of mind and heart, loving others, and we know that's not something we're necessarily going to get to the world and not in the level or height that Jesus could provide us with that peace and that heart. And also just reminding us we don't need to be troubled. We don't need to be worried or afraid or anxious or whatever. We just need to lean into Him because He has given us that peace of mind. He has given us that heart to continue to press through, to be resilient, to not give up, to have the personal growth, to be open-minded. We can do all the things through He who strengthens us, which is Him. So it only hinders us. It never helps us to hold on to our pain. It actually tries to cripple us, I would say. And so we need to move past it and let it go and lean into Jesus. That's what I would say. So, but that's it. That's all I had to share with you today in regards to this episode, talking all about, are you holding on to pain? Why are you holding on to pain? So until next time, have a good one. Check the show notes below. Oh yeah, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast again with me, Sabrina. I forgot to say that part. But I do appreciate you being here, downloading, sharing, listening to the show. You guys make my day every day that I see that someone has downloaded and shared the show. And I mean, I can't see you sharing the show, but I can see you downloading and listening to it and saving it. And that's awesome. And any reviews that you decide to pop in there, that's great too. But yeah, so check the show notes below. Come say hi to me on socials. Submit a topic anonymously. Check all the things out. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.